it feel good as an artist for people to appreciate your art. You know what I mean? Whoever it is. If it's somebody be like, man, that shit changed my life, bro, or if it's the Grammy, so.
Highest level. I always respect when people find that balance, when they just make such a concentrated art that it's undeniable. We could be intentional and strategic as we want to be, but at the end of the day, we all are moved by next level art.
Start with action and make small promises to yourself that you don't break. If you had a friend and every single time that you and your friend decided that you were going to go out for dinner, that friend either showed up 2 hours late or didn't show up at all, you would stop trusting that person. That is the relationship that you have with yourself. You need to be able to trust your own word. And a lot of us don't, because life is very convenient and it is easy for people to not stick to the promises that they set themselves, because our ability to be idealistic is always going to outstrip reality's ability to deliver that to us. As soon as you posit an ideal, you then begin to compare yourself to that ideal. And true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been.
All right, this video is for you young adults out there that are feeling kind of lost right now. And maybe it's not lost, maybe you know where you're going and where you're headed, or at least you know a general direction, but you're not there yet. And you're starting to wonder, like, is this ever gonna happen for me? I'm going through a similar season. That's why I'm making this video, because surely there's somebody else out there that is feeling the same way. You know, you have a lot of drive, you have a lot of ambition. Things just haven't clicked for you yet, I guess. And one day you wake up feeling that it can all happen tomorrow and you're on top of the world, and sometimes you're a little down because it feels like it won't ever happen at all. That's how it's felt for me lately, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. I just think it means we're aware, you know? We're aware of the current season of life we're in. And I think that's exactly what it is. It's just a season of life. That's something I think about a lot too. Like, people who have made it beyond where I've made it have probably been through this season and thought the same exact things that I'm thinking right now. And things like that give me comfort, because there are plenty of people that are out there that have done what I want to do that came from less than what I came from. So I know it's possible, and knowing that they went through a season like this as well is kind of what keeps me going. And I hope that's what keeps you going. If you're out there, you don't really know what you're doing, you know, you're lost, you want to make progress, but you don't even know what tasks to complete every single day in order to make progress, just start taking action. Something I heard the other day is, you know, he basically started it out with saying, what do you do when you're lost in the woods? And the other guy says, I don't know. And the speaker says, you start walking. Why do you start walking? Because if you don't, you're gonna starve to death. Nothing will happen if you just stay stuck in the woods. If you start walking and you figure out after 2 days that you're in you went the complete wrong direction, that's fine. Now you know which direction that you can't go, or you at least tried a direction and you know that it's not the direction that you need to go in. So now you turn around and you start walking out and going the other way. So basically the whole idea is to just take action. You find out through doing, not by thinking. I think that's the biggest thing that I've picked up on over the last few months is you figure it out by doing, not by thinking.
And time doesn't stop. But slow down so you can celebrate a little longer. Time also doesn't slow down so you feel a little more pain longer. They move unconditionally. You know, no prejudgment. Time continues to move. And a year from now, it's going to happen like that. And who is your future self? 1 year from now, who is it? Just like everyone's added here, go party Saturday night. They're not willing to sacrifice. I'm like the lone survivor in here. You know? Tonight will be over with too. Tomorrow I'll be stronger for it. Another day will go by. 365 of them happen so fucking fast. Who are you going to be in a year from now? And in a year from now, does that future person hold regret or pride? We know that day's coming. We can't go backwards. We can only go forward. We know that day's coming. What we do right now will ensure it goes our way. We'll ensure that there is no regret. That's something you can't ever fucking fix. It's a debate inside your head that never stops. We can learn from past regrets to ensure we don't re-regret them. To ensure maybe we don't go out tonight. Maybe we stay in here even else no one else is here. And push you a little bit further. There's still work to be done. The party I might smile at tonight, the laughter I might be had tonight, is a huge distant second to the fucking pride one feels of accomplishing their goals.
I think a lot of the pushback that I got from the people around me, some of the people around me, was your behavior is throwing my behavior into sharp contrast. And, this is the lonely chapter, right? This is why the movement away from your existing friend group. This is Neo, you've already been down that road, you know where it leads, you know you don't want to go there. It's all of those things. Reminder that if you want to be exceptional, you're going to be different from everyone else. That's what makes you exceptional. You can't fit in and also be exceptional. Both have discomfort. When you fit in, you have internal conflict because you're not being 100% you. When you're exceptional, you have external conflict because everyone sees you as different. Pick one. When your friends start to say, you've changed, remember it's because they don't know how to say, you've grown.
Is there any limit to your ambition?
No.
Or any limit to what you think you can achieve?
No. Well, no. Because I think right now, if I was to quit rapping and I said I want to go to the NBA, I would be in the NBA.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
Why would you think you could make it to the NBA?
Because I think I can do anything.
And I think the important thing is research. In the hall here in the office, I have a hall that I call Muse Hall. We have all the portraits of some of our muses here, from J.K. Rowling to, Steve Jobs and so forth and so on. And I think it's important to research them. And it's like putting, fuel in the fire every day. There's constant inspiration when you read about them, what they were able to accomplish, how they went about accomplishing it. It's just constantly, feeding that flame and learning. And the best way to do that is to learn from the people who have done it.
I was riddled with fake ambitions. My ambitions were fake. They weren't ambition, they were insecurity. Most of our lives are dragged by insecurity and shame. They're not driven by ambition. And it's a tragic truth that most of us are going to have. Our ambitions and our narratives fail us before we realize that they're illusions and mirages and they're false. This is the discomfort that everybody feels, whether you're launching a business or doing personal development or doing all the rest of it. And as opposed to thinking about it as a bug, think about it as a feature. And as opposed to thinking about it as something that's a personal curse that's difficult, think about it as the selection criteria that everybody has to get over. That's the reason why so few people are equanimous and actually have peace in their mind. Because meditation is hard and everyone thinks, am I doing it right? This kind of sucks and I'm twitchy and I'm tired today. Why are so few people in shape? Because going to the gym and sticking to the gym is difficult. Maybe it's a tiny bit easier for some people that like it than others, but for most people, most of the time, it's really, really hard. Thinking about the challenges that you need to face is just a selection criteria. The cost of doing business, right? This is just the cost of doing business, and I need to pay it. If they don't have what you want, don't listen to what they say. There's no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who have a life you don't want.
The things that really resonated is this idea that you had to challenge yourself, you had to do something out of your comfort zone in order to even recognize that you could become, that you could be, and that you could develop. And often we're waiting to become before we take on the challenge, but it's the challenge that makes us become that person. And I think we resist, even what you said earlier about the opportunities, this idea that if you have opportunity, and there's an Eastern spiritual teaching which talks about if you have opportunities and you don't take them, that's a disservice to humanity
1000%.
Because they're opening up to you even without your will.
Hey, everybody out there. Wow, this has been fun. And here we are sharing a moment together. Hopefully a moment of motivation, purpose, growth. I guess if I would have to bestow some advice, take it if you want it. If not, it's just advice. I would say never give up. And that widens out to whatever lens you want to put it in. I think as long as we are breathing, we have a chance. We are all eventually going to get to the finish line. So, I don't know, if you just attack every day with persistence and effort and, follow your excitement and enthusiasm and never give up, especially through those hard times, because I'm not going to act like it's all roses and candy canes. There'll be a bunch of hard times. Just do your best, try to do the best you can, and never give up.